So apparently they found a weapon of mass destruction. My putter. All right, boys, go get him over there. And now please welcome Mr. Bruce Jenner. Just wanted to remind you fellas what you're all fighting for.
Now I want to show you an operational tunnel. The tunnel is built with electricity. Now I want to show you an operational tunnel. The tunnel is built with electricity.
What up, dudes?
What is up?
I like the Tex Avery wolf reference. You know, to sticking his tongue out and everything.
Oh, yeah. Ooga, ooga. Very, The Mask. Dude, I used to watch, I think it was on Cartoon Network back in the day, and they do, it was some show where they'd go, it's like they talk about the old, like, the Tex Avery cartoons and the old, like, you know, Looney Tunes and this and that, and they'd actually sort of, like, you know, break some of them down and give some of the history and, you know, talk about them a little in depth. And I always thought that was cool. I guess I've always been a nerd.
Yeah, it was a cool show. They do like a whole block of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, neat. But you got something for us here, Steve?
Yeah.
You need me to add it?
So yeah, please.
Okay.
So apparently in New York.
Hold on, I'll vamp. Okay, there we go.
Oh, we're going hard in the paint right off the bat, huh?
Yeah. So apparently in New York, they found tunnels underneath the city, underneath Crown Heights.
What is this, though? What's this disturbance?
So the cops
here?
came in to find out what was going on in the tunnels, and then they started freaking out because they were pulling off the paneling and arresting people.
Like they're sitting there doing, you know, Jew stuff, and panels just start popping off, and cops just start pouring out. Oh, shit.
If by Jew stuff you mean digging tunnels underneath the city, then yes.
Well, this is so I'm really into like abandoned places and like what do they call like urban exploration?
Urban exploration.
Dude, I fucking love that shit, man. And like and then like so like in places especially like New York, like it's fucking full of tunnels, dude. From when the fuck ever and maintenance and shit. And I'm not saying they're not digging tunnels, but it's just interesting. But yeah, some of these dudes, like, you know, you watch videos of these guys and they'll find a way in, you know, and it'll just go on for like miles, dude.
Yeah, they were saying it was because of COVID, so they could go worship. But there's the vastness of the tunnels are so
they're like 6 months old, right? Or something like that?
Yeah. They're saying they're 6 months, but they've been there forever. I mean, like, there's no way.
Carbon dated them. They expelled the rats out.
That's why there's so much rats in the city now. They push them all out. But shit. Yeah, it's a very interesting story, but the media has not said boo about it.
Well, also, the NYPD aren't the heroes here. They were sealing the stuff up, and this is getting covered up pretty quick.
Yes. Very quickly. Like, it's gone. You can't find this in any stories in the news at all. It's completely covered up.
Man, it's like
that's not
you had the Miami Mall thing, and then the Miami Mall thing just completely like never even became a news story. There was
what was this one?
Like the cell phone footage and stuff. The Miami Mall where you had
mall. I think you said mole. It's that southern
Miami Mall, and then that just completely gets washed over. Then you get this, and this becomes like a pop-up video headline for all of a day, and then it gets washed over. Like all of this stuff is coming up and then disappearing. Somebody posted something like 2023 was just the warm-up. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. Like 2024 is
We're only 10 days in, and it's already pretty lit.
For viewers that just tuned in, what was that a video of?
The cops were shutting down tunnels underneath Crown Heights that were dug by Hasidic Jews. Well,
you gotta have a place to hide your gold,
Jews.
man.
They might have had other people digging it for them.
Well, yeah,
manual labor is not really their thing.
Do you guys remember?
The Mexicans give a very good price.
Subway
I know.
Did we cover this? The manhole
they dug 'em.
explosions in New York underground. Like, I don't know if this is related or not, but it's kind of funny how both of these stories came out around the same time.
Well, as soon and the other thing that happened
where in the East Village, hey yo,
with this
manual labor is not their thing. They built the pyramids and they were like, "Fuck this, we're done. We're never doing this shit again."
Oh, they didn't build it.
They just took credit for the pyramids.
The Nephilim built the pyramids. Come on.
Or whatever civilization was before what they call the Younger Dryas period, 12,000 years ago. They built. It was actually a huge fusion reactor that provided free energy for the whole planet.
Didn't it have something to do with like Kurt Russell and a Stargate too?
Yeah, the Egyptians just inherited the pyramids. They didn't.
Yeah.
Dude,
they just hung out, and I'm like,
what's wrong with you?
They're just like frat boys. Just
Yeah,
living in
Crown
the pyramids.
Heights, like, I mean, that's not the best part of Brooklyn. I mean, you know.
No, it's not.
Tunnels are
It's
much
not a fun
safer.
part of Brooklyn.
I would say. You know.
Has anybody ever seen Chud? For the Chuds
I
down
haven't
there.
in a long time. Oh, there you go. You might be right on that, SGG.
I don't know. I think because those are the.
I think it's a way for them to
Jews,
move all their money without it being on the streets, so they're not getting robbed.
Well, also like some of the stuff they pulled out of there. Did you see like the mattress and some of the other items? It's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, you think? How many people were raped on those mattresses for Pornhub?
Hey,
Like you gotta expect some homeless who
you might
gonna
just,
filter in and
like-
out if you have tunnels. It's the price of
that's
having a
that-
bitchin' tunnel.
That's that 8mm shit. They're making snuff films down there. None of that's going on Pornhub.
8 more weeks. Oh, that's fucking funny. Oh shit.
No, how is that being covered up? Like, how is the city not doing anything about that? That's what I don't understand.
Because
I don't know,
you
man.
know who runs
to what
this shit?
end? Yeah. I mean, there's I just looked it up. I mean, there's news about it. You know, like it exists. You know.
Yeah, but you're not seeing it
on
at any of the big. I mean, not even Fox isn't even touching it, or
It's not a story. It's just a hole in the ground.
America.
Yeah, there's tunnels. There's tunnels everywhere, man. You guys are just so green. I swear, you guys and some of you are so shocked, and I realize there's underground tunnels right under your feet at this moment, probably full of all sorts of unsavory people. Gosh, you guys just got to come live in the slums for a little while and learn how shit really works.
Dude, I grew up in Detroit, man. I know how the slums work.
See, and you're shocked by a little old tunnel.
Out here, we just got abandoned coal mines, and you don't want to know what kind of things are lurking in those.
Yeah, we got the cave systems.
Say, there's a reason they abandoned those.
There's actually some caves in Florida. We used to go when we were kids. There's a state forest up north a little bit that had a lot of them, and they ended up, like everything, one by one, they'd sort of close them off, to where you weren't allowed to go in there because somebody got hurt or something.
Because the federal government's taking them over.
Yeah, man. Maybe they linked to these tunnels in New York. But some of these caves, dude, it's just a hole in the ground, 2 foot wide. It's like flat ground in the woods, and there's just a hole, and it's just like, bro, you could just be walking and fall in, and like that's some missing 411 shit. All your boy. Wait, where'd D
Yeah,
go?
but missing 411, they find him again. You can't climb out of a hole.
Yeah, I think they just.
You think it's like the Miami Jews? Are they trying to connect with their brothers?
2-bit.
I don't know. They tried to do like the cross Florida barge canal like 100 years ago, and that didn't work.
I don't know,
Tunnels in
man.
Florida
Like
don't work well.
when we're
Yeah,
driving
no.
down to Nashville, you see all the stuff for all like the Mammoth Cave and stuff like that. I have no desire to go into caves, like zero.
Mammoth Cave is
Mammoth
awesome.
Cave's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but I
is
just
very,
have no
very,
desire
very
to walk
neat.
into it to be in a cave. Like, no, I'm
Is
good.
that like skydiving for you? It's like, nope, no need.
No,
I don't want to
I've
risk
done the
Can't
skydiving.
get
That's
trapped in a
fun.
cave if you don't go in a cave.
I've
So like
done the
Mammoth
skydiving. That's
Cave is like
blast.
guided
Wouldn't do it
tours,
now.
and they have electricity in the tunnels and stuff, and like it's all very controlled environment type shit. Like
The
the first,
spelunking guys
what
are
was
the
really
ones that
fun
are
about
nuts.
it. What was really fun about it for me was the first time I went as a kid, the power went out. And so like they do like specialty lamp guided tours. And that day the power had gone out. So everything was a specialty lamp guided tour. Like there's one like big part of the tunnels and cave where it like opens up and it's like an amphitheater type area that they use for, they do like events and stuff. And somehow that part of the tunnel or of the cave still had power. So, and luckily that's where the bathrooms were too, so you could actually use the bathroom. But for the rest of it, it was like we had kerosene lamps, and we're just like hiking through
Sneak away from the
was
tour group and crap in the corner. Like,
it was really really cool.
Just be preserved there forever.
I really liked it. I've
They
also
will
heard
find this for weeks.
I've also heard other people that have done the lamp guided tour
Put it in
and
a
hated
Pringles
it and
can.
were like terrified the whole time. I'm like, y'all just aren't comfortable enough with the dark. But dark in a dark in a
good in the
cave is
dark.
different. That dark in a cave is a lot different from dark like outside at night.
Yeah, it's
And
dark.
it's
Like,
not safe.
I worked in a photo studio for 20 years, man. I'm used to dark, but no caves because there's shit you can fall in and no.
He was born in the darkness.
came from it.
No,
What are we looking at here? What was
The
that
Mammoth
green
Cave.
sludge?
That's Justin.
That's where
That's
somebody.
where the,
That's where Justin pooped in the corner when he was a kid.
Yeah, that's where I
That's how
showed
it's
shit in the
evolved over
corner
the
and-
years.
that actually the green sludge was from New York, the New York tunnels.
Yeah, it was the New York
Oh.
tunnels.
One of the caves back home where I grew
turtle,
up,
man.
there
Maybe
was
that's what this is.
stalagmite formations that whenever a draft would come through, it would sound like an organ, like a piano organ playing. It was kind of cool.
I feel like I've heard of those.
It's like some Phantom of the Opera shit.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of caves and stuff in Louisville, and they've like repurposed them into like a storage facility. Like there's an area where you can drive into it, and they have like different portions like partitioned off where
That's the new.
It's crazy. Like people,
The Republicans
my
are planning to put
granddad, my
illegal
granddad used to
immigrants.
like store
I agree with
a
you.
boat down there and stuff. Like it was crazy. And now they'll like open them up and they do like tunnel tours or cave tours and stuff like that. And it's really cool, but also it's like holy shit, like how massive and like love you bye.
I really want to know.
How massive are these
Love you.
things?
Bye.
Like,
I want to know where Mark is when we're talking about all this cave stuff.
I was trying to
Hiding in
resist
one-
making
Mark like caves?
Well, he's talking about giving tunnel tours, and I was like, "Oh man, how do you think Mark made money in prison or something?" I was toying around with
You know what?
And
You
then
know what his tunnel tour involves. You don't want to go there.
and then I'm like, "Nah, we're always ripping on Mark. He seems so upset about it. I didn't want to go there, but Clyde said something, and now it's out there.
Oh,
Thanks,
shit.
Clyde."
That's awesome.
Sorry, Mark.
the
Love
thing,
you.
thing is, he's
No
probably watching, and he can jump in at any moment if he wants to and defend himself. But he
Yeah,
won't.
yeah.
But he won't do it.
We my folks
spelunking.
used to scuba dive, and there's a lot of springs in Florida, and there's a lot of people who do like the cave diving in springs, and it's just like so insanely dangerous.
We-
Just
We
so
we were-
I
insanely
grew up.
dangerous.
I grew up on a in the summer. Sort of, my grandparents lived on a lake, and it was like a glacier lake. And there's one end of it, dude. There was like underwater caves and stuff, and back in the '80s, and there's some people that got lost in the caves back there. I'm just like, why would you ever? Because it's so dark and you can't see anything. Like that's just, I mean, bad ideas. That's right up there.
That's
When
something that
we
bugs
were
me
in
in movies.
Mexico,
is one thing something that bugs me in movies is when they're in like a cave and like the lights go out and you can still sort of see like it's like no, there's no fucking light. Like they're in the fucking cave.
Bad
like,
cinema.
like in like Descent or something. It's like there's still a little bit of light. And they're like, no, you would not be able to see anything at all. Sorry.
My wife and I were in Mexico, and we went to these things called cenotes, which are basically just big holes in the ground filled with like water, like spring pools. And there's some cool stuff, but like you go swimming in there, you can swim like through the tunnels, but there's no air. Like I was like, no, I'm good, man. I like breathing. I don't need to do it. But we did go swimming in them. But yeah, not going to go through the tunnels in there because you don't know where you're going to get air at again.
I think I shared this story before, but the UFC fighter Donald Cowboy Cerrone was like scuba diving and underwater cave diving, and I think he took a guy that was like not as experienced, and he kicked up a bunch of silt, and he with his lights he like basically almost ran out of oxygen trying to find his way back out of the cave.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, it's just there's risks that you don't need to take. And, I mean, like that's one of them.
I think the big thing is you hit your head like on a rock or something and get knocked out. I had a dude I knew in high school. They were swimming. You go down in the one hole, it's a spring. You go down in the one hole and you can come up in the other. And I did it a few times like during the day, but I guess a bunch of kids were fucking around there at night and he didn't come back up, So shit happens. Well, but yeah,
I don't know if you could find this, Dag, but you know how they have those like hot spring geysers that shoot up water? There was one of some guy in his 20s that like fell in, and then that was it. I don't know. Right? I don't know. I'm not describing it very well. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. First step is spelling geyser correctly. Can you guys spell geyser?
That wasn't too long ago.
It's G-E-I.
G-E-Y.
Is it I or Y?
Is it Y?
Yeah,
I
got it. All right. Let's see.
We are definitely not winning any spelling bees around here.
Clyde seems like the most literate among us. To unlock this story.
Okay. I've got an idea for like a weekend show or something. We do an adult spelling bee for the morning after. We have 2-Bit will be our host. He'll give us a word. We have to spell it, and it'll be knockout style. Whoever's left at the end.
I'll go in the first round, man.
Y'all watch Letterkenny?
Keep your hands on camera the whole time, so we know you're not using your phone.
The adult spelling bee episode of Letterkenny. You ever see that?
No, I didn't see that episode.
Nope.
Colin Nathaniel Scott, 23, was with his sister Sable when he slipped and tumbled into the acidic boiling waters of the Norris Geyser Basin. This was in, when did this say?
Too long
2016.
ago.
Oh, was that far ago? I thought it was more recent.
There might have been one more recent.
Another one happened in 2000. So there's
not anymore. They're less one.
Yeah. She got it on video. I don't know if we have the video. They were trying to find a place to soak in hot water called hot potting.
And they're
I really don't think I want to see that video.
Yeah,
it's tunnels in New York to film that stuff.
If it's the one I remember, it's not gruesome. It's just him going into the hole and then being like, "Oh no, what do we do?"
And then an arm comes out as it erupts.
Yeah, it's like a to be continued. The arm just comes out and grabs the side. To be continued. Shit.
Like the end of the He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren when Skeletor comes out at the end. You guys remember that?
No.
No.
So I gotta
Masters
watch
of the Universe. That was such an excellent movie. I
love it.
Movie.
What is Descent about? I gotta watch this now.
Descent is terrible. It's like for a horror movie, it's just completely
you're about
awful.
to piss off our whole base, dude. Everyone loves this movie.
All 3 people watching.
It just didn't make any fucking sense. Like it's I don't know.
I've never seen it.
Terrible. I thought it was terrible.
I started watching Logan's Run the other day and realized how bad it was.
But that's supposed to be bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's an interesting concept.
I mean, it's what the left wants, really.
Officials judged Scott to be dead by his severe burns and lack of movement, so they couldn't access him. So
Sorry.
they're like, "Yep, looks dead to me."
They
They
just
were
left him
unable,
in there.
dude, they were
They
unable.
poke him with a stick. Are you dead?
They were unable to recover the body at the time due to lightning storms and approaching darkness. By the time they returned the next day, the body had dissolved in the boiling waters, according to the
Oh my
report. The only
gosh.
traces were Scott's wallet and melted flip-flops. The Norris Geyser Basin is one
So-
of the oldest and hottest thermal areas in Yellowstone.
Must have had one of
So
those
how-
wallets.
How'd the
that they
wallet
steal
and
wallets.
flip-flops
The
survive?
Ridge wallet.
Now you know where they
Yeah, the Ridge wallet. Yeah.
For
Now
all
you know
we
where
know,
they dump
this,
bodies because I mean they dissolve in a day. That's where
for
you go
all
to
we
dump
know,
bodies.
this guy's still out there as the Toxic Avenger. Like he might have
He's the
just left
descent
his wallet.
monsters.
He left his wallet and flip flops so that they would think he was dead, and then he bugged the fuck out. Like he probably had a bunch of gambling debts or something.
He's got a perfect disguise of no skin now. It's actually
Yeah, kind of like how they conveniently found Muhammad Atta's passport at the towers.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Oh man, so the acidic waters can top the boiling point.
Everything
there's a
else burned
boardwalk and
around
a
this
sign that
area,
says, "Don't
but
go
not this
here."
That's
passport.
gross.
Jesus.
Gross. No.
Lesson learned.
I like my milk toast cookie cutter lifestyle. You know, it's safe.
Yeah, the most you've got to worry about is your wife beating you, and you kind of like
Hey.
it. So
And I'm not complaining, am I? It beats giving tunnel tours, I'll tell you that.
Down on Colfax Avenue. Oh shit. What you got, Steve?
Oh, there we go. Change a little bit. Wrong one. I had too many tabs open.
You got this, buddy. I believe in you.
Yeah, my stupid computer. Maybe not.
Oh man.
Ah, bloody hell. Okay,
Yeah, the more
Joseph, your new
More
internet seems
tabs,
like it's
slower it
doing well.
runs.
You should just close all the YouTube videos and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's my
Pornhub, the X-Tube,
my computer
the
is so
Red
jacked.
Tube, the X-Hamster, the Lobster Tube. Get all those out of there.
I don't know what any of those
Free up
are.
some bandwidth.
No,
I
my-
can't believe I knew so many, to be honest.
My son's doing schoolwork right now, so he's probably in a conference call with school. Oh well, go to something else.
So I'm feeling pretty awful about being a man at the moment, you guys. We just watched the Barbie movie and the new season of Fargo, and between those two, I feel like I'm either beating my wife too much or not enough. I'm not sure.
probably not enough, but
Yeah.
I think you can always err
like
on
our
that
country's
side.
falling apart, and like our country's falling apart, and then they're like, you know, the woke people are like, oh, this country was built on racism. It's like maybe we should do more of that. Maybe that was working. You guys like the railroad?
Hey, that was opportunities.
Wasn't built by the LGBTs. I'll tell you that. Like our
Okay, there we go. That's all. I just wanted to show that because I thought it was funny.
what did you think of the Barbie movie, Dag?
I mean, so let's put aside
It
for
made
a
him
second
want to beat his wife more. I mean, what do
some
you
of the some of the made me feel lucky I had my wife instead of some of the people who think that. Never mind. Some of the people who might have made that movie would be much worse wives. The other than like the things I might disagree with about like feminism or the patriarchy, like I thought it was funny and I thought it was like a decent like Barbie movie. Like there was a lot of cool visual
As far as
stimulation,
Barbie
which
movies
I
are
couldn't film
concerned,
before
I think-
first. So
How many Barbie movies are there?
I don't
Have you
know.
Well,
seen
actually,
Barbie movies.
Actually, with all of your with all your sites you were listing off earlier, I'm sure you've seen a lot of Barbie movies.
I say not including the ones on the websites you listed previously. How many?
Yes.
Well, let me just address the stupid patriarchy bullshit with something that I thought was funny about it. Is like, they've got a lot of, the patriarchy and this and that, but like, all these rants of how, women are treated poorly and this and that. But like when Ken's in the real world and learns about the patriarchy and tries to go do patriarchy shit in like the real world, they're all like, "What are you talking? Like, that doesn't exist. You know, you can't do that." You know, he's like,
Yeah, we
"Oh,
can't
I'll
do
take
that."
my white privilege, please." And they're like, "What are you talking about? You don't get that." He has to go back to the Barbie world where everything's perfect and run by women to just so easily take it over. So I don't, you know, that's a big plot hole. But you know, if you get around that, it's fun.
Well, I mean, or that kind of reminds me of that Beavis and Butthead episode where they go to the school and learn about white privilege, and they start acting like they have white privilege. And everybody's like, "What the fuck?" You know, it's just like because it doesn't exist.
At least not quite so blatantly.
The way that
I get overlooked by cops sometimes.
We've talked about it
nice.
before, but like the way that they kind of create feminism and paint feminism, it's almost like a parody of feminism. Like it takes it to this like over the top thing that makes it seem unappealing. Like I understand what the director, and I think the director is like a fully bathed in it feminist, and thought she was doing something good with that. But at the end of it, like aside from completely psychopathic woke people who are just totally indoctrinated to that, like average young women who saw that, like I have teenage daughters, and they saw that and they're like, if that's what feminism is, that's terrible. I don't want that. Like,
yeah.
So it sounds like it was like a documentary.
What's funny when
in some sense there is a framing device of they give history of Barbie, so it kind of starts off sounding like a documentary.
It is kind of cool. Some of the background there.
I think you said that
I'll refrain from watching it.
It was so silly that as long as you don't try to take it so serious, like I could have easily gone, "Can you believe this is stupid," you know? But if you just don't do that, it was actually kind of fun, you know. And like you said, I mean, anybody with half a brain would see it and realize, like the pissy little girl going, "Hey, you set feminism back 50 years," you know, like it's just stupid.
Bringing it back to the earlier topic, there was a movie about the Rothschilds back in like the 1940s or 30s where they were trying to make them out to be like heroes and stuff, but all it did was reinforce negative stereotypes.
Ooh, what's this movie? I want to watch it.
I'll send you a link later after I get off work. It's an old black and white movie.
Watch it right after Reefer Madness.
So, I say when I watched the Barbie movie, I went in after having read that thread that kind of paints Ken as the hero of the movie and talks about like the longhouse and everything else. And so I went into it from that mindset of Ken being the hero coming to save Barbie Land, and I thought it was amazing.
Towards the end, at one point, I don't remember what it was he did, but the wife goes, "Wow, he's kind of an asshole," and then she goes, "Well, I guess Barbie was treating him kind of like shit for a while there." Too. Like, yeah, crimes were committed on both sides.
That's right. Little give and take going on. The Battle of the Kens is that should go down as like the greatest cinematic battle sequence in history, though. Like nothing, Braveheart, none of the war movies. They got nothing on that. The Battle of the Kens was
better than Heat.
Yeah, that was it. That's where it is.
I guarantee you the Rothschilds have tunnels. I would be interested to see a documentary on the Rothschild tunnels.
They probably have them under the.
What do you think they were doing under
cap.
Crown Heights, man? That you know.
Yeah, they're under Antarctica.
Yeah, under Antarctica to get to the other side.
See, that's what they were doing. They were trying to get down deep enough to hit the Rothschild tunnels. They just hadn't made it there yet. They know they're down there.
Just flew a little too close to the sun.
Yep. Poor Icarus.
I mean, I'm seriously curious, like how they found out about them, because they had to have broken through something.
There was a tweet. There was a guy back in November tweeting about like hearing people under his floors.
Yeah.
And then like a week or two later, he's like, "Seriously, they're speaking Yiddish. What the hell's going on? I live on the bottom floor of the apartment."
And he's like, "There's music." So that's on the Twitter. I think that was one of the last things that was posted. I just put something else in there, but that's one of the last things that's posted, so you can pull that tweet out.
Remember that guy? Wasn't there? There was some guy that like blew up his neighbor's house, some Asian dude. I wonder if
that was his own house.
Yeah, it was in Northern Virginia, right?
Yeah. I wonder if
we hear anything else about that?
They're probably tunneling under his house.
Well, the same day that the
You probably
tunnels
heard
were
Yiddish on
discovered,
his floors.
yeah, the same day the tunnels were discovered, a hotel in Manhattan blew up for no reason, and that also
No,
is
that was
not
Fort
news.
Worth, Texas.
Nope, there was one in Manhattan as well.
Oh, another one. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. Remember when all the food processing places were blowing up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
2 of them got hit by airplanes in different sides of the country.
Did they
Yeah,
find
we talked
passports?
We talked about some of that stuff because there was like a list of all of the
Justin
food
downplays it,
processing. Well,
Fort Worth
that-
and New
when-
York. Yep.
when you go look at the list, like there was a list of all the food processing plants that had caught on fire and all of this stuff over this particular period of time. And when you start going and looking at them, like
that's Texas.
I remember one of them was literally the grain elevator and soybean processing plant that's down the road from us at work. And I remember the night. I remember the fire because I remember hearing it
I
on the
started
scanner. Like maybe, but anyway, it was a fan motor on one of their grain bins that the motor caught on fire. And before the fire department even got out there, they had the motor turned off, the fire put out, and they had replaced the motor. Like, so a lot of there were, hundreds of these food processing facilities that had caught on fire over this 8 months period. But then when you start going and looking at the reports on them, it was like some minor piece of equipment that had a fire, and they called the fire department. And whether or not the fire department even showed up for it was so like the hundreds of them was blown out of proportion. But yeah, I mean, there were some freakish ones here and there.
The ones that made the news were the ones that burnt down completely.
Yeah,
those are the ones that made the news. It wasn't like the little fires that made the news.
What if it was it just like?
If you see a clickbait headline that says 76 fires, then that would be the in-depth list.
Right, and that was the thing right, that's the thing that people were getting all blown, really blowing out of proportion, was there have been 125 facilities that have caught on fire. It's like, no, there's been 8 facilities that actually burned down, and then 115 facilities that had a minor fire that was probably put out before the fire department even showed up.
How many of them belong to
you guys get any crazy new laws in your state? Come the first?
I know, something about not being able to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Oh, they had to codify that one.
I don't think we did, but that crazy kid that's trying to in our state legislature, it's LARPing like he's a 60s civil rights activist. They're trying to put the gun stuff back on the docket again. He was the one that got censured. I don't know if you guys remember that story.
Mm-mm.
They need to put him up in a hotel in Memphis for a couple nights.
I think that's the district he represents.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there. It's just an idea.
Call the FBI
Indiana, I was actually talking about this with Alan Mosley the other day, because he was working on an article for the 10th Amendment Center about it. They're actually working on some I'm trying to think of what they're trying to fix some problems with the cannabis bills in Indiana. Indiana is they legalized medicinal marijuana or medicinal cannabis, and then they realized that cannabis was marijuana, and they tried to backpedal and undo all of it, and then it's like, oh shit, you mean CBD comes from marijuana? Oh no, we can't do that. And so then there's all kinds of
hemp technically, but
yeah, well, the boomer politicians don't understand, or it's all bad. It's all the wacky weed, and everybody's going to get addicted and overdose or something. So then they tried to backpedal, but it was too late, and they couldn't backpedal it. So then they added a bunch of dumb additional bullshit to make it more complicated. And now they're trying to. There's a bill that's probably going to go through that's going to wipe out a lot of the complications and bullshit. And it's that's the only thing that's really going on in Indiana this year that I'm aware of.
Okay, so I just pulled up Michigan. We have a bunch of new gun laws. Basically, that state if somebody comes in and steals your gun, you're held responsible for any murders.
So in other words, you should murder them before they steal your gun.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure that's illegal now too.
You guys also got the mandatory locking up your gun in your house too.
Yeah,
right?
that's the law. Yeah, that's the law.
Yeah, most states.
But
Most
fuck
states
that,
there's some
'cause-
sort of, or like you have to, whatever they define as safe manner. If there's children around, children aren't supposed to have access, or it's supposed to be in a safe or a locked thing, or a
and
gun
they
lock.
ended the right to work law, which was passed in 2012, which basically busted unions. And now third graders don't no longer have to learn how to read.
That's a step in the right direction.
What was it?
Yeah, they had a law saying that they had to have a certain proficiency in reading, and they killed that law because it's racist.
Right, because I mean, like you can't meet that law.
And the prevailing wage, which is this
Failing.
one's the fun one, is that they have like if I go to work somewhere where there's a union shop, I have to be paid union wages,
Even if you're not in the union?
even if I'm not in the union. So that's now back in vogue in Michigan. They killed that law, and now it's back. So this is the best part about the two laws about the union stuff. That the whole state voted on those two things, and as a state, we said no, these laws are not good. But the governor and the legislature went back in and changed those laws back, even though the state voted them out. So
Democracy, baby. That's how
democracy. Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Fuck
did
your
you
democracy.
Did you see my message, Ag, about the one that just went into effect in Florida, where you got to be more transparent with where your funds for campaign finance comes from? So then on January 1st, everyone started resigning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bunch of people resigned. Yeah, it looks like you have to be like up to like $1,000, like assets that are like $1,000 or more. You have to like declare and this and that. So that's, on the one hand, I don't like government invasion, but when it's politicians, I'm cool with it.
fuck them.
Yeah, hey man,
invade all of their privacy.
Yeah, be more
I feel
upstanding.
like when you sign up for that, that's what I mean,
right. You chose to be a public servant and put yourself out there. That means you should be fully accessible to the public. We should know everything about you. There are no secrets for you anymore.
No Fourth Amendment. I can just come search your house anytime.
I want to know what kind of soap you use.
Yeah, this is the only. I think we had that, and then a lot. I don't know, a bunch of other ones were. Oh, I think there's one where like if you're like autistic or something, it can go in your driver's license. When the cops pull you over, they know you're autistic, and they don't just shoot you for being weird.
What if they shoot you before you get the opportunity to hand it to them?
Maybe the autism inhibits you, dude. I saw a car in the Walmart parking lot the other day that on the driver's window or passenger, that side of the car, there was a sticker that said, autistic driver or something, occupant. Please don't shoot.
How's my driving?
Yeah.
I'm autistic.
Might not respond well to
me.
commands.
I need a sticker like that. Everybody should just get,
Yeah.
You have to get medically cleared for that sticker, or can you just like buy one at Walmart?
Kind of like
Probably.
it's kind of like the service dog thing. Just buy a vest and you're good.
Yeah.
That's why I've got the Boogaloo porcupine on the window. That way they already know.
There's a car that drives around here. It says like autism awareness, and it's covered in the puzzle piece stickers. And like every time I see it, I'm like, oh, the libertarian campaign vehicle. I've got the Oh, here it is. Okay, so I got the list. Nothing too exciting. But yeah, there was that one. They expanded the oh God, where'd it go? They expanded the move over slow down law. For disabled vehicles.
Dude, that causes. I swear that's going to cause more wrecks every time. Like that you got cops pull somebody over and the whole 3 lanes got to shift over, and it's like. This is retarded, man. This is just bad news.
Hold on, not yet. I found another story we can talk about too. Let's see. Where
I was driving the other day. It's coming out. It's a 2-lane like highway kind of. Not really a highway, but it's like with on ramps and stuff. But it's and there was a what do you call them? Funeral procession. 7 cars, including the hearse, and it had like cop in the front, cop in the back. Nobody could go around. They were on the highway for like 10, 15 minutes. There's huge lines of cars behind us, like couldn't go anywhere. They wouldn't let us go around them. It's like, man, like what? I mean,
Clive,
I get
be
it.
respectful of
I
the
get
dead.
it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. You know, I don't want to get past. I'm dead in a coffin and have no clue what's going on. You know, I mean, like, I don't know. Is that disrespectful, or is that just like, you know,
People
common
got places
courtesy?
to be, man. Yeah, no, I mean, you should not impede the flow of traffic. I mean, it is a road. That's the point of it. You know. Also, do what you got to do if there's an investigation or whatever that needs to happen, sure. You know, but yeah, otherwise, let's get the show. And I've had times like I'm sitting in traffic for 2 hours, and the cops like they could just say, "Hey, you guys can go that way" or something, and they just don't. You have to like get out and ask the cop, "Hey, what's my option here?" "Oh, go that way" or something. You know. "Okay, well, thanks." You know, there's a cop car there. You know. "Oh yeah, we'll move
You
it."
talk to
But
him?
I don't know. It's stupid. I don't like them.
I just avoid all contact.
Yeah, no, I mean it's when you've been sitting in the same spot for over 2 hours. At some point, you're gonna say something.
I have to.
Really, what it was in this particular incident is another motorist went up and talked to the cops, and then came back and delivered the message to all of us motorists on how we could all get the fuck out of there. You know, because the cop was just standing there, not delivering that message.
Those are the real heroes.
Yeah. The only other interesting something about lactation spaces, but I don't know what that means. But Florida residents can book campsites, reserve campsites 11 months before the reservation date, where non-residents can only do it 10 months before the reservation date. So we get a whole
Nice
month heads up.
Giving you that leg up so you can get in there before all the out-of-towners come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the fuckers already down there causing traffic. May as well give you guys something back.
We went to the state forest here locally
great.
recently the other day, and totally caught all the forestry guys burning one. It's funny. I want to talk to them. They were all hanging out the place we were going, and we parked and went over to say what's up. Hey, what's up? It was like closed apparently, and they're like, "Nah, you can hang out, just don't go on the dock." And yeah, they were.
Dags are selling them some stuff.
Dude, they got all that space out there. I'm sure they're growing all their own. Like, we got 80,000 acres out here, buddy.
They know all the places that nobody's allowed to go, and except for them.
They know where all the trail cams are. Yeah, they can just close off the area. This area is closed for something or other, you know, and nobody's even gonna go in there. So I haven't read this story yet, but I saw the headline and I figured we should talk about it. Exploding toilet at Orlando Dunkin' Donuts leaves man filthy and injured. Lawsuit.
So,
whose chicken is that? Is that your chicken, Dad? Or
it's mine.
It might be mine. I don't know. That was mine.
Sorry, go on.
Was it a urinal or was it like a?
No, it was a toilet exploded.
Yeah,
I heard this on another show.
So why are you using a toilet in Dunkin'? I mean, like.
Oh man, everybody's got to poop.
Like, you know what it does to you.
Yeah, you get the coffee runs.
I know, but
while you're on your coffee run,
do that at home. You don't need to do that in public. Like,
why are you in a Dunkin' Donuts for long enough to need to use the toilet? Like, you go in, you get your donuts, and you get
maybe he was
out.
driving, had an emergency, had to go in and use the bathroom.
That's when you tear the sleeve off your shirt and you go find the wood somewhere. Like, you don't public bath. I mean, like, you can.
Either way,
you know.
I mean, like, they knew so they knew about the problem because they said, like, yeah, this happens every once in a while. So he's suing them because they didn't do the maintenance on it.
So after the explosion left, I cannot pronounce that last name, Kurak, covered in human feces, urine, and debris. He walked out of the men's room seeking help from workers and the store's manager, according to the lawsuit. An employee told him that they were aware of the problem with the toilet since there had been previous incidents. The lawsuit says, without diving into further detail.
What do you do? Take them back and hose them off? I'm like, that's horrible. That's like that'd be the worst.
Wipe them down with strawberry frosted.
Covered in
man,
poop.
I really wish John Morgan was his attorney, but he's not. It's some Scott Bradley.
Where is this
at? What about the mafia guy?
Yeah,
that guy seems like a good lawyer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy would have gotten into a toilet problem.
I've been to a Dunkin' Donuts in Orlando once. I wonder if that's the same one.
Well, they're everywhere. This is Winter Park, to be specific.
Going in, shutting the stall door, and on the back of the door is like caution, exploding toilet. It'd cover him, right? It'd be good.
I mean, seriously though, is that lawsuit worthy or no?
I think it's arguable. Even by me, and
Like
I'm
if they
pretty
know
privileged
they know the
also.
toilet is exploding. I mean, like,
Right. The
If-
fact that an employee admitted that they had previous knowledge of the fact that this happens and they had not done anything to prevent it from happening to prevent it from further happening, and also did not do anything to give customers warning or notification that, hey, maybe you should stay out of that stall, otherwise you might get blown up. Like, I can see where a jury would find Dunkin' Donuts liable for that situation. Whether it's lawsuit
Well,
worthy
they
or
just,
not,
like-
it's the opportunity is there that it could be a liability issue. That's why you always teach
Put
your
the
employees,
franchise
like,
owner on the toilet and just keep flushing it.
if something happens, you admit nothing, like, just don't say anything. Be like, yeah, we'll have to get back to you on that.
Here's a napkin. I'm sorry.
yeah, but they're paying this employee like $10 an hour to sling coffee for people.
They
And,
don't.
like,
They're not
make
thinking about
shitty
that.
donuts.
What
They don't
now?
care.
Like, did it? Okay, so it exploded, right? In my mind, explosion is like pieces, and it said shrapnel. Like, I would
Some debris,
imagine that's
yeah.
probably sharp, right? I mean, porcelain doesn't just. I
And
mean,
does-
did he
did
get
the-
cut?
Did the toilet explode, or was it just what
Like
was
the
in
water.
Right,
the
like did
line?
water
Or did it just
fly?
Was it
backfire?
like Exorcist, like spewing, or did it explode?
The dude's just trying to do everybody a solid and give a courtesy flush and gets like backwashed, I guess, you know. Think about that. Ugh.
I don't know, man. That's pretty.
So it is one of those things you could get disease from that. So you could argue that, but I think this is also like it's $100,000, blah blah blah. This is one of those incidents that could easily be like, let's settle out of court right now for $2,000. You know what I mean, kind of thing. You know, you slide me a couple grand, nobody really
No,
has to
man.
know
I got,
about
I
this.
got other
I'd
people,
go home
I
and
got other
start
people
licking-
shit on me, man. I'm going for $1 million.
I'm
I mean,
going
no.
home. I'm licking raw chicken. I'm getting E. coli. Like, I'm eating poop. And you're gonna pay for it all.
They-
You know? Like,
Probably will settle. I mean, when you first file, you come in high, and then like if they end up settling for less later, after all the mediation and everything.
what? No, put that away.
I remember this. I think this is the one. There's actually a lot of. I gave a quick pre-search, and there are a lot of instances. I thought I remembered a story of like I couldn't remember if it was a Dunkin' Donuts or a Subway or something, but a guy got basically the toilet seat was loose and it sliced when it slid off the bowl, sort of sliced, guillotined his nuts off. This one says a guy's he's suing because his dick got crushed in a Starbucks toilet seat, and he's no longer
What
able
are
to
you
have children.
doing
And
with
his
your
wife
dick
is
in a
seeking
toilet
500,000. He's seeking $1 million. So
This is why you
I'm
don't
guessing.
sit down at public toilets.
You know how
Just
the
don't do
public
it.
toilet seats sometimes in the front, it's not closed, right? It's open. It's almost like a big,
Yeah,
you know,
it's a
you,
U.
Like a half moon.
sometimes it's not
Yeah.
a full loop.
Like a
So
U
what if
instead
when
of
you
a
sit,
circle.
the toilet seat's loose, your dick somehow you're letting it flop on the front of the toilet seat.
Mm.
It's disgusting. And
Which
then
does not seem sanitary in any way.
yeah,
shape, or
I mean
form.
that's your first mistake. I mean maybe he's a big fat guy and has a hard time.
Your first
sitting on the toilet.
mistake is
I often
sitting
wonder
down on
about
a
the
public
mechanics of
toilet.
fat people in toilets.
No.
Not everybody stays in
I-
their house and
no.
doesn't leave, Clyde. Like do you ever leave your house or no? You
Yes.
don't.
No,
Well, like
but
some of us,
I-
like
the
have to
thing
use
is,
public restrooms.
I have enough control over my bowels that I don't have to use them, release them when I'm out in public. Like I do it at home, like any normal human being should. And
Well, what if you're gone for like 15 hours?
I mean,
You're on the
I
road.
rarely
I don't-
use poop in a public toilet. That is an awful endeavor whenever I have to do it.
It is, but if you're on the road, man, sometimes like I travel a lot.
Yeah, sometimes you got to, but like no. I mean, then you go someplace like decent, like go to a Walmart where there's like 10 different stalls and you can actually pick like the best one. Don't go to one where there's like one stall.
So the woman's
and
restroom at
Right,
Publix
you're
is
not
for.
going to a fast food restaurant where everybody and their mom is blowing this thing up on the regular, and like you got people being paid $10 an hour that are definitely not cleaning anything. I know.
When I drove for a living, that's why you brought Clorox wipes with you.
Just
I
bring
think
a bucket
if
at that
I was a
point.
driver, yeah, I think I'd bring like a bucket,
I
a whole
always
bunch
had
of
Clorox
grocery
wipes in the
bags.
car.
5-gallon bucket, baby wipes, and trash bags. That's all you
Mhm.
need.
Lord,
I got
I've been
That's what
there.
we used to do.
Well, I
That's
used to
what we
run
used
at
to do.
night, man. I got
I
storage.
say that's what we
fees.
used to do loading barges, like
Poop in people's yards.
the river belt to go out where we loaded barges was over a half a mile long. And so once you went out, like you took everything you needed out there with you for the day, and you just stayed out there and loaded barges all day. And so you took a 5-gallon bucket, trash bags, and baby wipes. And if you had to go shit or whatever, you go down on the barge, sit on the bucket, shit in the bag, wipe, tie it off, throw it in the river.
Why would you put it in a bag? You're gonna
At
throw
that
it in the
point,
river.
put it
Why
in the
not
river.
just like put it in the river?
Yeah,
Why
just
you
rinse
guys-
the bucket out in the river.
Same. Everybody's using the bucket. Like, just use the bag.
It's just what
Then
everyone
why
was
use
doing.
a bucket? Why even use a bucket? Just like lean over the side.
Just- It's part of our safety training is to not do that.
you must crap in the bucket and not lean over the side. It's too dangerous.
So if you have a place where the bucket's going to be more static and it's a more long-term thing, 86 the bag, okay? And you just use the bucket, but every time you make, if you will, you throw in a handful of like pine shavings. So you get a bale of pine shavings from Tractor Supply.
It's like
And just enough to cover it. And dude, it's fine. It doesn't really like smell or anything.
I don't
And you can
know.
just
I
cover it
keep
until it's
compost.
full,
keep
and then it's
hearing
human compost, humanure, if
like
you will.
from Silence of the Lambs. It puts the lotion in the bucket. I keep hearing that like with Justin's group. It puts the shit in the bucket.
The problem is
The shit's in the bucket, or else.
The problem is you're loading a barge every 2 to 2.5 hours, and
What do
so once the barge is loaded, they're swapping it out. So then you got to go collect your shit bucket. Like, it's easier to just take the bucket with you, sit down, shit, throw the bag out, and carry the bucket back. Because otherwise, somebody's going to have to go and like collect the shit bucket
Dude, how do
whenever the barge gets.
how
So
do
swapped
let's
out.
go back. Let's go back to our original story. What do you think
you have your own
the
personal
tunnel rats
bucket?
did? You think
Don't
they
you go
had
shop at
buckets
Home
down there?
Depot? Don't you get a free bucket if you buy something?
I mean,
Only
I just
if you
imagine
don't scan it at the
the,
self-checkout.
the sanitariness of it. Like the
bucket?
spatter and
That's why you put the. That's why you put
That's why
the.
you eat healthy and make nice solid bears.
That's why you put the bag.
Plop
you,
out.
You put the bag on the bucket. It lines the edge of the bucket. Then you
I
don't.
don't know,
have,
man.
You know,
Some days when you have Indian food, that doesn't work.
You're
out
talking
that
trash
well.
bags, man. You're not talking like grocery bag. Talking like
Right,
trash-
yeah.
yes.
You're
You're
using,
tossing
you're using
solid
cheap
trash
13-gallon
bags in the
there.
river.
well, I mean, they're the cheap. They're the cheap ones. They're not.
Okay, wait.
We're-
So I
We're not
Yeah,
getting
sea
like
turtles can eat
we're
the
not
cheap
buying,
ones, no problem.
We're not buying
Hold
like
up.
heavy duty industrial strength hefty bags for this. Like it's the cheap dollar store bags that are
Hold
barely
on.
more than
I gotta-
paper, but it's.
I got to tell you the story. So my wife and I ran a missions organization. We had a group. We were in New York. We had a group of kids out there. We were cleaning up around this church. One of the kids picks up a bag to go throw it into the garbage, and it's just full of like liquid shit, and it just goes all over him. Like just like literally head to toe, he's covered in this stuff because the bag explodes. So that's what happens to your bags, Justin. Some kid cleaning up picks it up, and now they are.
It's like the piss
Yeah.
jugs the truckers throw out the side of the road.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Dad, pull up what I have on there.
Did you guys see that story recently of these cops got caught like going to get slushies and throw out the window and hit people with them? And they had their body cams on and they got caught.
Oh
might
my
have-
god!
Might
that's
have done
fucking
that at a
hilarious.
point in time in life when I was younger. Here,
When we were kids, we had a friend that worked at Dunkin' Donuts. At the end of the night, they would throw all the donuts away in like giant trash bags. That was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
so going back to our original story, I just thought this was fun.
If they're homeless, they don't want the top of the muffin too. Peace.
I had to play that one because that one's the best.
So Clyde, y'all would get the day old donuts and just go to town on them.
Well, you'd snack on a few and you'd throw the others at
Homeless.
random things. And
There was a
Wing 'em at
there
the
was a
homeless.
there was a
Mad at
Mexican
food.
place. There was a Mexican place back home that made all of their salsa fresh daily. And so, like, at the end of the day, they would just jar up whatever was left over. So, buddy of mine knew all the cooks in the kitchen. So we'd always get there, like, close to closing time, be like, hey, y'all got any of that salsa left over? And they bring us a couple mason jars. Get to take them home with us.
Got your salsa plug.
Great story, bro.
Yeah, it's all about who you know. Got to make them connections.
Yeah.
Hey, Clyde, when you processed your goats, did you like chill them before you actually broke them down, or did you hot bone them?
I quarter them and put them in a cooler, and then I chill them.
Broke them into primals.
He is definitely
chilled
hot.
them.
He is definitely
then-
hot boning his goats.
Well, you hot bone them before you process them.
That sounds like something Mark would do.
It's just
tunnel
it's
tours.
it's too hot. You can't like leave them out, you know. And I don't have
Yeah.
a fridge big enough, so I'd break them down into quarters, just like a deer, you know. I'd break it down into quarters.
Did you
I
put
try
it in a
to take
fridge
a-
or a cooler?
Yeah, I got a cooler. I had one of those big, like, 120 quart coolers. Put it in there, and
Put 'em
just
on
put
ice
ice on it.
something.
Yeah, and then it's got a drain on the end, so you just tip it up right. If you're really
You don't let it
fancy,
soak in the water, then
yeah, if you're really fancy, you'd come up with some sort of grate that you could put like in it that holds it up off the ground, off the bottom of the cooler, a couple inches.
Yeah, and then
you know.
Another
I'm
way to
sure.
put ice
I'm
on
sure
top.
there's a website called Hot Boning. So.
let's not check that out.
Oh, Clyde, come on, it's yours.
You know that's and that's Mark's cue. Where is he?
I have more testicle stories if you guys want.
Sure, why not? Let's end with a good testicle story.
Well, this one's been up, but this man awarded $870,000 after doctors removed wrong testicle.
Was it cancer? Was it they took out the one like?
No, it had atrophied from a previous injury. I love the doctor's excuse though.
Couldn't
Here.
find the other one.
The
They were
doctor
both so
gave it.
shriveled and small, we couldn't tell which one we were supposed to take out.
The doctor said he claimed that he removed the testicle that was on the right side of the scrotum, and the testicle had a spermatic cord that led to the left side of the body. So essentially, the doctor claimed the testicles had switched sides at some point.
The magic
Both
testicles.
switcheroo.
Oh, it's horseshit. Ugh.
Hey, Jack, I got some of these magic beans.
That Darko sounds retarded.
Oh, hold on, I wasn't ready. Yes, it is. Oh, what do you want from me? I wasn't planning on ending it there.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Hey, I'm working on it. Hold on.
Yeah, I got it.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.